Welcome to the final episode of How to Land a Seven-Figure Deal. Corey Goldstein has closed multiple seven-figure deals with strategic accounts in the last year. So, what's the secret? In the last two episodes, Corey revealed his plan of attack and how he sells to power. Today, I'll ask him how he handles things post-sales and what lessons he's learned in the process. All right, Corey, today let's just jump right in.
Okay.
So I'm curious to know, what goes through your mind when you actually close a seven-figure deal? Like the ink is dry, the contract's signed.
I'm set for life, man. Like I'm good. I think it's like the culmination of a lot of hard work, so it feels good for a week maybe, and then I'm ready for the next one. But that initial feeling's awesome. Then it wears off kind of quickly, unfortunately. But when the commission check clears, that feels good. I'll say that.
I bet that's awesome. So we kind of have like, I don't know if it's like a tradition at SalesLoft, but a lot of times I see like when you have like a big enterprise win, there's a kind of this long, lengthy letter like of gratitude from the primary seller to the rest of the team. Like, what was it like writing that?
That felt good. I think like a lot of the times, yes, I get the commission check and I get a lot of the credit being the seller, but obviously you can't sell a multi-million-dollar deal by yourself. And especially in the sort of the size of the deals that we're talking about today, they were global deals. And I did not fly to India or Japan or China, but people on our team did. So that's where I really try to go above and beyond and thank them and genuinely thank them, because that's the only way I get what I want at the end of the day is from all their hard work and them genuinely caring about the customer.
Compare it to like a six-figure deal, like a seven-figure deal. Like, what is the difference in like the cycle time between deals of those scale?
A lot. And so I think with the existing customer I sold, I inherited them about 2 years before I ever sold a dime to them.
2 years.
So that was a long process, but what I think I did well at the beginning of that was have no expectation of I'm gonna sell them 50K here and 70K here. What I wanted from them was this big transformational deal. And so from the very beginning, when I took them over as a customer, my thought process was, how do I build the foundation to sell something big?
So you had the vision, which gave you like the patience to actually execute on that.
I think that's the perfect word, and really translating that vision over to their executives. And so when the CFO asked, why the bleep are we spending over $1 million on this technology we've never used before? Your champion needs to be empowered with, here's why, and push across the business case or have a really good answer to that. When all the questions come up from procurement and legal and IT and the budget holders, then being able to quell their concerns with the vision that you sort of implanted into their brain.
Interesting. So now that the ink is dried in a couple of these big deals as you land this past year, are you still involved post-sales? What is that like with the customer after the contract signed?
Yeah, very involved. I think like what a bad sales rep would do is run away with their commission check and look back and say, see you guys later, I got what I need from you guys. But I think part of what happened with these deals is you build relationships over time, and the champions are taking a big risk and putting their name on the line for you. And so I feel indebted to them and saying, okay, I promised you X, Y, and Z. I'm gonna be there to see it through. This player here could go over to company C and their first call could be to me. And so I think I wanna do right by them for the future of my career, to say, okay, future of SalesLoft, this person did right by me and didn't just leave me at the altar after, bringing me all the way here.
Right, I love that long-term thinking. So someone once described me like enterprise deals is like a roller coaster. But being on a roller coaster for like 20 months, kind of a long time. But can you pick out one moment where you like, it was like the scariest moment of the deal, you felt like things were like potentially unraveling? What was that like and how did you actually address it?
I think for, one of the deals that we're talking about, it got to a point where we were about 90% of the way there and it started getting really quiet. We were texting, we were slacking, we were emailing them, and then they weren't responding. And I think at that point, I sort of got in my head like, wow, I worked 19, 20 months to get this deal done, and is this not gonna happen? And so when that happened, I took a step back, and like I said in the last episode, got perspective. Okay, why is this happening? And I began to realize like there's challenges on their side that they haven't solved yet that are actually necessary for them to fix before they implement something like SalesLoft. So tough conversations had to happen. Forecasts were, locked in or in dark pen that were hard to erase and had to kind of rip up. But at the end of the day, I think any good sales leadership knows that you can't force a company to buy. You have to really wait for the right time and jump on the right urgency. And so when things then sort of resurfaced 2 months after that time, we had already been through it and we knew, okay, this is our time. And luckily things got inked at the right time.
What's one last takeaway you have for our audience?
The biggest thing I could always say is if you're not tied to their strategic objectives at a company level, you are not going to get a 7-figure deal done. What I always say is an analogy, if you're talking about low-level things, you're going to meet with low-level people. If you're talking about high-level things, you're going to meet with the higher-ups. The truth is we're going to help them achieve their CEO and their board of directors goals. And if you can do that, you can sell 7 figures of software. If you can't do that and you're only solving small problems that are on a director or VP level, you're going to sell tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars of software instead of millions.
Interesting. That's amazing. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for spending the last 3 episodes with us. I learned a ton. I'm sure our audience learned a ton too. And be sure to check out our previous episodes of how to land a 7-figure deal, where Corey walks through step by step how to prospect into those accounts and how to accelerate those deals to close.